Very good afternoon, class. So today we're looking at the exercise 11.4. We're looking at the odd numbers, and the odd numbers on page 377. 377. So here we are told that 9,000 Rand is deposited into a savings account for 8 years. People, timeline. Not so. You don't have to do a timeline, but it's going to be the most logical. 9,000 Rand is deposited into a savings account for 8 years. The interest is 13% per annum compounded quarterly for the first 3 years. How much is that? 13% per annum compounded quarterly for the first 3 years, and then it changes to 11.5% per annum compounded monthly for the last 5 years. Calculate the total amount accumulated at the end of 8 years. Again, we can do it as we did this last one here, where you break it up, or we do it all in one. Okay. So I'm going to go all the way. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. Right, boys? So it's going to be 9,000 n into 1 plus 0,13 over 4 to the exponent 4 times. And how many years is this for? 3 years. Now this answer here is the principal at that point. Not so? Then the interest rate changes again to 1 plus 0,115 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 5. And of course we can punch this in the calculator. It will be 9,000 into 1 plus 0,13 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3. Whoops. Into 1 plus 0.115 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 5. Is that correct? 23,412 Rand. So it's 23,412 Rand and 81 cents. Okay. Any confusion there? Let's go to number 3 in exercise 11.4. A bank advertises a 5-year savings plan on which the interest is paid 7% per annum compounded monthly for the first 2 years. So, T0, the first 2 years, 7% per annum compounded monthly. The interest then increased to 9% compounded quarterly, 9% per annum compounded quarterly, for the following 3 years. So that takes you to T5. Calculate the amount accumulated in the savings account if 120,000 Rand is invested in the scheme for 5 years. Okay. What we do is use the formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. What's your P value? 120,000. Does the interest rate change? Yes. So I ground it there, and then I take it to the end. Not so. So what's my P value? 120,000 into 1 plus I, which is 0,07 over 12 to the exponent 12 times. How many years is this for? 2 years. Now that is your P value at this point here. Why did I take it all the way? Interest rate changes. Okay. So that's into. There's now my P value at this point. 1 plus 0,09 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3. So it's 120, 1, 2, 3 into 1 plus 0.07 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 2. Upper brackets 1 plus 0.09 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3. 180,000, is that correct? So 180,000, 204 and 49 cents. 50 cents. You will agree with that? Right? Am I moving too fast? I'm moving too fast, and then that means you say you didn't do your homework. Now, Dewey, did I say it right? And Dewey, invest 83,000, right? Again, timeline. And Dewey got a lot of money. I would like to meet Dewey. Right. In a bank savings plan, the interest is 13% per annum, compounded semi-annually for the first 4 years. That takes you to T4. Alright, so that's going to give you 13% per annum, compounded semi-annually. And then 12.2% per annum compounded quarterly. 12.2% per annum compounded quarterly. For the next 4 years, so that takes you to T8. Calculate the total amount of savings at the end of 8 years. Again, I can break it up or I can do it straight. What's the formula? Compound. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent B. What happens, people? I must take it 83,000 to T4. Why? Because of the interest rate changes. If the interest rate stayed constant, I would have taken it to there. Okay? So it's going to be 83,000 into 1 plus 0.13 over 2 to the exponent, 2 times 4 years. Not so? That's your p-value lying here. Now what? We take it to the end. You all agree with that? So it's going to be 1 plus 0, 122 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 4. Let's go. So it's 83,000 into 1 plus 0.13 over 2 to the exponent 2 times 4. Open brackets. 1 plus 0.122 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 4. We will answer of 222,000. Is that correct? 222,000. 148 rand and 25 cents. Okay. Easy. No? I'm sure you tell yourself, how can I say this is pure maths? No? You want something more challenging? No? Right, last one. For this video, we are told that John invests 10,000 rand for 5 years in the savings account. It pays an interest of 15% per annum compound monthly for the first 3 years. Right, timeline. T0, 10,000 rand is deposited for 5 years. Paying 15% compounded monthly for the first 3 years. T3, 15% compounded monthly. For the first 3 years, and then 30% per annum compounded quarterly for the last 13%, 0.13, compounded monthly, quarterly for the last 2 years. Okay. Peter invests 10,000 rand in the savings account for 5 years. That pays 30. Oh, so it's a different person now. Right. Let's go with John with the black. So A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. So you got 10,000. They're good friends, no? They have so much money. So it's 1 plus. So what do? I'm going to take this to 3 years. Not so. So it's 1 plus 0.15 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. I must get friends like this. No? Then they get to the end. It's going to be 1 plus 0.13 over 4 to the exponent 4 times. So that is what John will have. Not so. So let's see, let's look at Peter's scenario. Okay, let's work this out completely. It will be 10,000 into 1 plus 0.15. 1 plus the exponent 12 times 3, which is 36, into 1 plus 0.13 over 4. And that's the exponent 4 times 2. So John has a take home of 20,000. Is that correct? 20,199 rand and 55 cents. That is John. Right. Then we are told that Peter invests 10,000 rand. I'm just going to pull that down a bit so that I can keep the question in focus. So now we are told that Peter invests 10,000 rand in a savings account for 5 years at 13% compounded quarterly for the first 3 years. For the compounded quarterly for the first 3 years, and then 15% per annum. Per annum, compounded monthly for the last 2 years. So the only difference between the two is that is there and that is there. Not so. So who do you think is going to get more? I think that's John. So John started off with a bigger one. Yeah. Okay, bigger interest rate. But anyway, let's do the calculation. It's not. So it's going to be A is equal to P, which is 10,000, into 1 plus 0.13 over 4, to the exponent 4 times 3 plus, into, sorry. 1 plus 0.15 over 12, to the exponent 12 times. This gives you a total of, it will be 10,000 into 1 plus 0.13 over 4 to the exponent 4 times 3 into 1 plus 0.15 over 12 to the exponent 12 times. Gives you an answer of 19,777 rand and 5 cents. The question says, who will have a larger sum of money at the end of 5 years? And of course, between the two, John has a better return. So John, that is with the J. John has a better return, and the difference is going to be 20,199.55 cents minus 19,777 rand and 5 cents. It's 20,199.55 minus, gives you an answer of 412 rand, 422 rand and 50 cents. Will you guys understand? Alright, you guys have completed for 11.5, no? Oh, you're just saying yes. The full lesson can be found in the description box below.